Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast, and I am so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business and help you with your social media marketing and help you stay social. So don't you want to be the business that everyone's talking about? I know I do. So I am so stoked to have Denise Miller with me. Welcome, Denise.
Hi, Lorraine. I'm so glad to be here. And hello, everyone that's listening to this podcast. It is really my honor to be here this day, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. My name is Denise Miller, and I am known as an efficiency coach because I help and empower women to eliminate the things that no longer serve their lifestyle and create a new vision for their life. My journey began really when I was a little girl, and I can remember loving making my bed. Now, I know some of you are cringing at that thought, but I always used to make my bed competitions in the morning. And I loved spending time with my grandmother because she was the woman who took care of me while my mother went to work. And I learned so many beautiful skills and creativity from my grandmother that led to my passion for learning and cooking. And this just has been so much inside of me that now I want to help share my skills and talents with people, that men and women who are in some sort of a life transition and want to create a new purpose for their life. An example of what I do is to help clear some emotional and physical clutter, and we establish systems in helping achieve your goals. One of the keys to my success is my personal development, and I love being creative and bringing that creativity in my training and in my programs. So my experience comes from, my diverse experience comes from also serving some high-level executives and managing many projects and always improving myself for that continuous improvement, and that way I can serve others better. My husband and I live in Pennsylvania, and before we moved, we served in a food truck ministry in the Bridgeport Rescue Mission, and that was a wonderful ministry to help the homeless and the poor in South Norwalk. And that community really helped us grow also in our marriage and also spiritually. So I really look forward to getting to know every one of you. And if you have any questions, Lorraine, do you have any questions?
Yeah, lots of questions. So, this is more going to be a little dialogue here. So,
yes,
thank you so much for sharing all that. That would have been my first questions. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do. So, what inspired you to get into the coaching business?
Yeah, I know that's a very good question. I think I've always been a coach or a mentor in some respect. It's really stemming from my childhood. I always like to have one-on-ones with people and just getting to know them personally. In my corporate life, I was the one who knew all the details about the person. So, Lorraine, if you liked pretzels, like what is your favorite? What is your favorite snack? And drink?
Probably potato chips. And I like wine and beer.
So I would know that. I would even know the particular name of the wine that you liked and the beer and the particular potato chips that you like, because not all potato chips are created equal. I hope you want to agree with that.
Absolutely.
And I would know those little details about every person. And that's who I am. I'm very detail oriented, and I like to listen. I don't mind sitting and listening to the person, what they're going through. So this so when I decided to leave corporate, which was really a catapult from when we relocated, I was really searching for something to do. So what was the next chapter of my life? Here I was, we just relocated from living in a home of 30 years. We brought a lot of our attic belongings and our furniture, and I saw my life in a matter of boxes, and just kind of like full of so much stuff and as I'm uncovering and going through all of these boxes, I really took some time to reflecting upon my life and really how I really always needed to have that mentor in my life in helping me going through different situations. So I decided to open a business. It's a very young business. It's less than a year, and it's called Create the Best Life. And it is to help declutter, because I really took this process of decluttering myself, decluttering some things in the past that no longer serve me, and building a better life for myself that is a little bit less stressed, enjoying more time, and also serving others. So that's where I had created this company, and I am creating this beautiful opportunity for your audience to help them even heal, de-stress, fill in those empty nests, things that there are maybe something that's lacking. And I have come in contact with a couple of women. We did a declutter challenge, and just by decluttering their one specific room or closet and doing the series of journaling steps, they were able to uncover some hidden gems for themselves to be healed and transformed. One of the women in the group had gone through a childhood trauma, and her therapist was trying to get her to write a letter to the inner child inside of her. And through this challenge, she was able to write this letter of this inner child, to get that inner child to go now with the journey that she is now being protected as the adult. And she is doing beautifully and being transformed in her new journey. So these are the little gemstones that have been coming and evolving through this process that I've created.
That's beautiful. It's funny. I work with all different kinds of people, and one of the companies I work for is a restoration company, and they actually they clean a lot of like hoarders' houses. And as well as I know that it's when it gets that bad, there definitely is some psychological issues and some deep issues and stuff. And they train their staff on how to deal, with that, because it's hard to part with that, empty pizza box or whatever. At any rate, in your, I love a couple things you said, and I'm not going to summarize anything, but little things that piqued my interest a little bit is when you say, learning, always learning, you're always learning. That was one of the things you said. And then the other thing that you said is you listen to people, because so I'm going to just start with the learning piece, because a lot of people on this call are people who've come out of corporate, and are just starting out their business. And then there's people that own their own business, but they never get the support that they really need to get. So when you say learning, and always you didn't say learning, you said personal development. personal development is so important, and it's even important when you're an expert and you own your own business. So what I wanted to ask you is what would you recommend for people to start with when it comes to personal development?
And this is for somebody that's starting a new business.
Yeah,
Already.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. Well, I think the first step is to learn how to organize your desk. And there's the very simple task of clearing your desk first, making sure that you have a clean desk and that you are only putting one project on your desk at a time. So that also means you need to organize your filing cabinet or filing system, and also maybe organize your bookcases accordingly so that you can easily grab your binder as you're going and you're finishing your task. Secondly, there is also organizing your calendar and not filling it up with every last thing every single day.
Absolutely.
Because we get very ambitious and we get, I can do all of this, and I don't really need to have that bio break right now, or go out in the sun, or go and exercise. So I have definitely read some wonderful books. There's the 12-week year that really kind of demonstrates that you can break up a larger goal into 12 weeks and keeping yourself accountable. Time blocking is really a skill that needs to be mastered. I plan my week on a Sunday afternoon, take about half an hour, and I block specific time for different tasks. So I'll have my creativity block would be for about 3 hours. But if sometimes people are like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of time, but you're going to just have to kind of manage it yourself. And then having another block of time for just checking emails, correspondence, and then leaving some time gaps so that, you always have those unexpected interruptions. So that also gives you that buffer, especially when you're working on a larger project and you need that time block. There's for people that are working from home, that are whether you are coming from a corporate job or you are dealing with you still have small children around the house, and there's those little interruptions. Really working within the family's schedule can be very helpful. So sometimes you'll have to get up earlier and do more specific tasks while the children are either at school or if they have they're in a daycare program. Kind of working in between those days of managing children and work is always challenging, even when you do work from home, but so much more rewarding when you work from home because you're there and you can always be a support system to them. So managing the calendar, managing your time, making sure that you're actually taking a break for yourself, at least an hour or more a day, just to get away from work, because when you are always focused on work, that dulls your creativity, that dulls your productivity, and you become sort of resentful if you're not getting the results that you wanted to get. So whenever you feel, build that time before you feel it, because once you start feeling it, you're like, okay, I pushed my limits. I need to take this break.
Absolutely. It's so funny. You said so many things there, but, especially when it comes to, that whole clean the desk thing, I actually have another practice where I clean my desk before I leave the office. So I have an in-home office, but I do not work weekends at all. So basically when I leave the office on Friday, which is my home office,
Right.
I clear my desk so that when on Monday morning, when I come back, I have a clean desk to work with. So that's just really a great tip. And it really will help you believe it or not, it will help you be more productive. So I think And then one other thing I want to mention, just because it's something I discovered over a period of time, is that I discovered that I have there's a couple hours in the day where I have high energy.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows where their high energy is. And what I just want to tell everyone out there, make sure you are utilizing that high energy. I call it like a power hour.
Yes.
Or a power, so when you're blocking time, block your most. I do a lot of client fulfillment and a lot of my own marketing during that, my blocking of time. And right now I only have one block time as I'm taking care of my grandchild, and he only takes one nap. So it works out that it is in my power hour for, so it works well. So that was really good. Just a lot of, and one other thing is there's this lady out there. I don't know if you ever heard of her. She was called the Fly Lady.
Yes.
So she had this thing, and I don't remember what the exact number was. I think it's just like get rid of 30 things or something a day or something like that. And so a friend of mine, we would challenge each other. Instead of that, let's start with in the beginning of the month, get rid of one thing on, like May 1st, two things on May 2nd. And so until you get to, the 31st, and you're getting rid of tons of stuff. And I thought, well, by the 31st, I'm not going to have anything to get rid of. Oh boy, I had plenty to get rid of. Especially if you start in your closet, because there's clothes in there that like you really don't need,
Right.
But anyways, I want to move forward really quickly to the listening, because I find that that's a lost art today. And that, I mean, you could even test this. This is my test, is like when somebody asks you how you're doing, instead of saying just fine, give more than a sentence, and that they really didn't really care how you were doing, because they didn't even respond to what you said.
Yeah.
Sometimes drop, well, it's not so good today because I just had a rotten morning, or I'm having a fantastic day, but like, I'm really great. I'm really doing great, and then they just don't respond with the proper answer. So they weren't really listening. And when people are actually going through, trials or different, they're having different struggles, I should say, nobody's really listening. And I think that's that's why so many people are struggling right now, because they just need somebody to listen to. So I was really impressed that you said that. And the biggest thing I'm really impressed about is what you said about coming through from a place of service, because you like to serve others. And I think that's the key. A lot of people are, when, like, for instance, when I worked in the health field, I was about serving others, but a lot of people were in it for the money.
Yeah.
And when you're in it for the money, it doesn't have the same satisfaction inside, and really it doesn't really help people or serve other people. So I was really impressed with that. What do you, I'm going to switch gears here a little bit, just because a lot of people here on that are going to be listening to this, they're not really, they don't get to hear the good stories about people who own their own business. So what do you enjoy most about owning your own business right now?
I really enjoy meeting other people, not only online, but also in my community. I joined this really sweet organization called the Pink Polka Dot Powerhouses. And it's a women's group. Sorry, guys. And it's really about connections. It's about really meeting each other and building friendships and establishing that community. I love that, because it really helps me feel like some type of spark. There's like this spark inside of me, because as you know, Lorraine, that I worked, my Jim and I, and a lot of members from our previous church community had a food truck ministry. We worked with a food truck ministry, and just having that connection of meeting people was just like really amazing. So when you're new in town and you have to kind of step out and get involved with just meeting people, just chatting with people, and getting to know who they are and where they're coming from. And that's the beautiful part of, that's what I love about what I do, because it's giving me that freedom, that time freedom as well. Although, working for yourself, you have to be very disciplined, and you also have to be creative. You're the boss of you're the boss of you. So holding yourself accountable is also important. But that's why, going back to that, organizing your desk, organizing your calendar, you can build that free time to connect over Zoom or in person, or just get out and just go walk down the street, park, and just engage with a person and say, hey, how you doing today? It's
absolutely
getting that connection going. Again, we don't necessarily have to be isolated.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important that, you enjoy really that part of it. I think so many of us do. And I want to point out to those who are listening right now that, when you own your own business, especially if you're working from home, you really actually need others. You can't do it alone. You need the support of others. You just need that somebody that's going through the same thing you are in your business. You need that person. So you can't do it alone.
Right.
And, so there's a lot of challenges we have in business. What would you say is the biggest challenge of doing your business?
Yeah, the biggest challenge that I've learned so far is really finding that good mentor, because everybody is like, oh, try this, and you want to have the mentor to come in and kind of say, well, you're a little bit off. Well, I sort of learned through this past year just really my own strengths and my own weaknesses. So you kind of have to figure that out first before you even want to just pour in a lot of money and time. So what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And then how can you find the resources? And usually I found that I'm going to do a quick pitch for SCORE, because they have been wonderful. SCORE.org has been absolutely wonderful for myself. They have in-person and online networking meetings. They also have tons of webinars. So you can learn so much from them and really what is involved in starting your own business. And that has really given me so much encouragement, because every day I get up, I am excited to get up. And it's just like, this is just a great day of serving others. And what's the next thing that I can do to get myself better into serving others? And I have a huge whiteboard that is constantly changing and evolving, and and that's where I brainstorm a lot, because I do like to get up and move around. So and I agree with you, Lorraine. It is really important. You gotta build that connections. You gotta get out there. You just don't want to be isolated, because that does lead to other things. And that can also, when things aren't going well, and those really bad days, can lead to, things that are not healthy for you. So it's best to have some type of a connection, that someone that you can call, a group that you could be involved in, like, your business group, and just some of the wonderful programs that may be in your local community. So you just have to just do a little research.
Yeah, absolutely. And just because this is a show about helping others, in a sense, by learning what others do, there's a lot of struggle out there. What would be one piece of advice that you would give someone who is struggling in their business right now?
So if they're struggling, to first take a pause and just take some time and just to write out what that struggle is to them. What is your struggle? What are you dealing with? Is it finances? Is it creativity? Is it staff? Is it product development? Where is your struggle? And then you should really just take one step at a time. I mean, if it's finances, what can you do in maybe, what can you do that might be a little bit different than others? What that you haven't thought of in the past? And even asking people in maybe your Facebook community or close friends, what do they see in you that sparks them? And sometimes we get kind of numb because we're always looking at ourselves, right? So we want to have people see that mirror image. What do they see in you? What do they see? And so the struggles will always be there. It's just how we have to manage those struggles. And getting outside, literally outside into nature, is a very soothing way of seeing the world and differently. I know that there was a time where it's just like, oh gosh, money is running really tight, but when you get away from that thought and you go outside and you start being with others, or maybe even serving others, it sort of comes into your, a prospect will come, a lead will come, money will come. And so it's what we think and what we speak to ourselves as well. And I'm a prayerful person, and I do believe that prayer is really important. And maybe that's something that you may want to try. I know that the comparison trap of social media can also be very deadly when you're not in a good place. So don't compare yourself. Turn off the social media, and if it's for a while, or you just have to post, well, then make sure you have your posts all set up and organized for each day. Post and then go.
Absolutely.
So just post and go. And then at the end of the day, you can, return the likes and whatever the comments, but, sometimes you have to just break away, because, everything seems beautiful on social media. And honestly, that that's not the truth.
Right. And here's the thing. I mean, for literally, you can't, it would be like nobody would read your post if you woke up every day and said something bad about your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So really only the good gets posted, but we all know underneath that life isn't that perfect. Right. And I don't really think people are trying to make it that way. It's just, they're not going to post, so for instance, all those families that just recently lost people in that shooting, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to post on social media, I went and identified my family member's body today, right? Because that's not something that you post on social media. So we're only really getting one side of somebody's life anyways. Right. But really good, by the way, really good tips. And I know that
I just want to add too, that this is very helpful to plan out your social media calendar and planning ahead. And what I'm learning is that those that are very successful with the social media side plan their calendar 6 months to a year in advance. So they're never on the surprise mode. What am I going to post today?
I actually, in my business for BizGone Social, that's one of the things we do is we work on a content calendar. And when I was actually doing videos every day, what I would do is I made it very simple for myself, and I'm sure, this is the most simplistic thing when it comes to planning a calendar. If you really don't know what to do, just theme it, so for me, because I do social media marketing, very easy. I just would literally just theme it I started off, well, this month we're going to talk about Facebook. Next month we're going to talk about Instagram. Next month we're going to talk about email marketing because I'm a digital marketing agency. But for you, like you know, it's like you could do so much fun stuff too. You get all the fun stuff. Procrastination, or digital, just clutter. Digital
clutter, yeah.
Because I'm looking at my desktop right now, it is so cluttered. I really need to clean it off.
You need to get that off like ASAP.
Absolutely. Then I can't find anything. I have folders, and it's like, then folders, it's hysterical. But
right.
I'm sure there's probably plenty of people out there that may have resonated with you. And if they wanted to get in touch with you, or if you want to just share something you have to offer, just please do that now. And then I'll put it, when it gets posted, we'll put it below on the social medias and in my newsletter.
Certainly. So my website is createthebestlife.org, and I am on Facebook, and I do have a free takeaway for those listening for 6 quick organizing tips. And if you'd like to take on this offer, I'm offering a 30-minute consultation call. We can, I'll sit and listen, and we can chat over a quick cup of coffee on Zoom for half hour. And I'd love to serve you well and help you create your best life.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you for being such a wonderful guest on my show. And to all those out there, I'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at BizGoneSocial for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.